Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the parts of the world. My name is Raymond, aka A Ray of Sunshine 21. Welcoming you to another edition of A Ray of Sunshine, bringing you positive stories to light. So good to be here on another Tuesday night here on Twitch. And tonight's show will feature 9 positive stories. I think the past couple weeks it's been 9 positive stories, so it's kind of good to get some positivity rolling again on the stories, and also two videos featuring one will be a motivational video about emotions, so you want to stay tuned for that. And also we will close out the show with some quotes. So those will be the two videos featured for this evening. Um, this is the, what could I say, the third. This is let's just say the third to last episode for our season. If you didn't notice, I posted out on Twitter and on the Discord that the season 3 finale, will be on June 13th. So we got this show, we got another show, and then we got the season finale. So we got about 3 shows left before the season finale hits, and then probably on the season finale, I'll tell you where I stand with the show, personal plans, and all of that. But until then, let's just get rolling with the current episode for today. And it is episode 30, which is amazing. I did want to stop on episode 30, to be honest with you guys, but I think I can do a couple more. I can do a couple more in June before I go away for a bit. But episode 30, and it's the end of May, so kind of a good scenario here for this evening, and it's the 30th month in May as well. So 30 is all over. So how about that? All right. Remember to auto host to your channels, share on social medias like Facebook and Twitter, as we try to spread some positivity in 2023. If you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started with our first story for this evening. Already in progress. And shrimpers and crabbers get paid to collect abandoned traps, saving wildlife from derelict fishing hazards. And this is from Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for May 22nd of 2023. And I did not do this last week. Make sure to follow the goodnewsnetwork.org. They put out very, very good stories. Good stories, not negative stories. And like one here, the other 8 I'm about to show well, 7. One's on another article that I will show near the end of the stories. But this and 7 more are from this website. So you can have stories from this week, last month, last year, and previous years on this website. So check them out, goodnewsnetwork.org. Great website. If you don't see the story on here tonight, it will probably be on that site. All right. So again, shrimpers and crabbers get paid to collect abandoned traps, saving wildlife from derelict fishing hazards. So if you guys are ready, we're going to go ahead and get started with our first story for this evening. And here we go. Let's go ahead and get started with our first story for this evening. All right. And there we go. We've got a picture there of all those nets there. So let's go ahead and get started. Fishermen in Mississippi are getting paid to collect derelict crab traps, saving wildlife from getting caught in them. A bounty of $5 is offered for every abandoned trap collected, and in just 3 years, the program, launched by Mississippi Commercial Fisheries United, a nonprofit fishermen's organization, has collected over 3,000 such traps. Crab traps work pretty simple. The crustaceans crawl in, and then they can't crawl out. This is perfect for fishermen looking to supply the Gulf Coast with delicious seafood. But what happens when the traps are abandoned or become lost? Their lethal trapping power remains and carries on indiscriminately, a phenomenon known as ghost fishing. Participating shrimpers and crabbers register for the program. Then they catalog and tag every trap they collect on their way towards turning them in at a redemption site. Alyssa Rodovich, a graduate student at Mississippi State University, told, let's see, Hakai magazine that it was really gratifying to see the number of derelict traps being turned in, having at first never realized the problem. Continuing on with a quote, I didn't realize how big of a problem it was until I was on the cleaning up end of it. After a few months of removing like 200 crab traps at a time, she says, it was heavy and gross, and the amount of bycatch in the traps was a lot. MSU was also involved with the program alongside Mississippi Commercial Fisheries United, the Mississippi Alabama Sea Grant Consortium, and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, NOAA. Together, scientists documenting the project published a paper on its successes, on which Rudolphich was the lead author. The program has so far cost around $34,000 per year, which is nothing compared to the annual loss of gross revenue attributed to ghost fishing, which is estimated at $15 million from over 5,000 lost crab traps every year. With such rapid, demonstrable success, the project just received a grant from NOAA to pay for the collection of other debris from the Gulf, which Hakai explains is already taking off, with fishermen bringing in old tires, shopping carts, washing machines, and toilets. And a very, very good thing they're doing over there in the Gulf Coast there. Look at this. All these nettings and traps here. And, that really does cost, you know, um, probably the Gulf industry that want to supply seafoods and all of that a lot of money. So it's kind of bad to have those nets there and then just trapped like wildlife and all of that in there. So it's a very good thing they're doing over there in the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, and I think maybe Alabama as well. Just trying to clear those nets off and do fishing the right way, um, getting the seafood the right way. So um, and not create much of a clutter as well in the waters, which is kind of bad. So, but a very very good thing they're doing over there in the Gulf. So and a good program too. So hopefully they'll collect all these nets and hopefully make the waterways free for not for the wildlife, but for fishermen to catch seafood the right way as well. So shrimpers and crabbers get paid to collect abandoned traps, saving wildlife from derelict fishing hazards. And this is for Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for May 22nd of 2023 to kick off our stories here on A Ray of Sunshine. Our next story, which is coming up, is a heroic story here. Once it pops up here, there we go. And our second story for this evening: a homeless man is held as a hero for rescuing family from an apartment fire. He was an angel. And this is from Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for May 22nd of 2023. So if you guys are ready, we're going to go ahead and go right into story number 3 real quick. As again, homeless man was held a hero for rescuing family from an apartment fire. So let's get started with our second story for this evening. Here we go. A mother in Arizona woke to find she was trapped in the second story of her apartment home as it quickly engulfed in flames. Claudia Jimenez opened the window and called out to anyone who could hear, needing somehow to find a way to escape while the front door was blocked by the fire. The first person on the scene wasn't a firefighter. It was Joe Hollins, who lived in a homeless encampment with his wife near Jimenez's house. Quote, all I see is a lady pull open a window and she's screaming, please help me, Hollins told CBS News. The mother of two then had to make a difficult choice. It's not unusual and judicial to be wary of people living on the streets, but for her 1-year-old daughter Valerie and 8-year-old Natalie, Hollins may have been their only hope of survival. Under the window, Hollins called to Jimenez, saying that he would catch the children in his arms. She trusted the man and not only dropped Valerie and Natalie, but the two dogs as well. It took Jimenez herself a while to summon the courage to jump, but she managed it, and Hollins still had the strength to catch her. As things calmed down, the family thanked Hollins profusely, though the man said that he did what anyone would do in that situation. Quote, yes, anyone would. Those were children, he said. I will forever be thankful to him, said Jimenez. Like I said, to me, he was an angel, Jimenez said. Because of him, we're here, we're alive, and my daughters are safe. While the family lost everything, community members are helping support them to get back on their feet, while viewers at CBS want to know where they can support Hollins and honor what he did. So this is the video here of the fire, and probably we will see Mr. Hollins and Miss Jimenez there talk about their encounter. So let's go ahead and get started with the video here.
An Arizona man is being praised for a daring act of bravery after he helped an entire family escape their burning apartment in Phoenix. Now the family is thanking the stranger who says he was just at the right place at the right time. Michael George is here with more on that. Michael, an extraordinary act of courage.
Michelle, this is incredible. This mom made what had to be an excruciating decision. With the flames closing in, she had to drop her children out of a second-story window into the arms of a stranger. That stranger, a man who's homeless, living nearby. And today, he's being called a hero. Phoenix mom Claudia Jimenez woke up Thursday morning to find flames ripping through her apartment. With the front door blocked, she and her two young daughters were trapped.
I opened my window and I started yelling. Please, someone help me. Like, there's a fire. I can't get out through the front. I need someone to please help me.
But even before firefighters arrived, help came from nearby.
All I see is the lady pull open the window and she's screaming, please help me, please help me.
Joe Hollins, a man who's homeless, was camped out near Claudia's apartment. When his wife heard the screams, Joe ran to help Claudia, who was at her second floor window.
He was right underneath and he's like, yes, throw your daughters out. I'm going to catch them. I'm going to get them.
Joe safely caught 1-year-old Valerie, then 8-year-old Natalie, then the family's two dogs. But Claudia was still inside.
She didn't want to come at first. She was scared she was going to fall, and I was like, I got you, don't worry.
Joe caught Claudia, too. Firefighters arrived and were able to fight back the flames. And this grateful family says they owe their lives to Joe.
I will forever be thankful with him, Like I said, to me, he was an angel. Because of him, we're here, we're alive, and my daughters are safe.
But Joe says he's no hero. Anyone would do the same.
Yes, anybody would. Those are children.
And thanks to Joe, everyone in that apartment got out okay. Now, unfortunately, Claudia and a lot of the families who lived there lost everything, but community members are raising money to help them. But a lot of people are saying that Joe could use a lot of support, and people want to really honor what he did and help him out, too.
Wonderful to see them help him as the way that he did in some way.
Ironically, all of them are now homeless as a result
Exactly.
of the fire.
It could happen to anybody.
It sure can.
So, like the lady said at the beginning of the story, right place at the right time. Just helping the family out of that devastating apartment fire there. So, great stories, not from Miss Jimenez there and the family, but to Mr. Hollins there, just witnessing what was going on and a courage of depending on each other in order to, for her and her family to get out and survive. So, kudos to Mr. Hollins, kudos to Ms. Jimenez as well, being out of the apartment fire safely. and it's weird. At the end, they're both homeless now, the family and of course Mr. Hollins. So hopefully not. Mr. Hollins is the rescuer, and they're helping him, but also Miss Jimna, she might need some help as well. Um, Getting her assistance in my house or anything. So I feel like both of them would need assistance and helping out to get on their feet and um, and having a better life, a better life, and moving on and having a home. So, but anyway, so our second story, homeless man hailed as a hero for rescuing family from apartment fire. He was an angel, and this is from Andy Corbley of the Good News Network from May 22nd of 2023. All right, let's move on to our third story for this evening, and it's summer. It's summer. We're gonna have bugs, um, especially mosquitoes that will come out during the summer, especially if the rainstorms or there's any water standing by somewhere. However, someone has created something. This fabric is designed to block mosquito bites. And this is from Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for May 23rd of 2023. So if you guys are ready, we're going to go ahead and get started with our third story for this evening. And let's go ahead and get started with it. In a potentially huge development for fashion in tropical countries, an entomologist has come up with a spandex polyester weave that's impermeable to the proboscis of the mosquito. Mosquitoes hospitalize hundreds of thousands every year in the tropics by spreading malaria, uh, dengue fever, yellow fever, and West Nile virus. And every major proposed solution has failed to alleviate these burdens to any degree that can't be obtained with a simple mosquito net over someone's bed. Uh, there have been news reports recently of genetically engineered mosquitoes that can sterilize populations in areas to prevent the spread of the diseases they carry. But to John Beckman, who designed the new cloth weave, the simplest solutions are probably the best ones given past experience. Using a high-tech knitting machine, Beckman and his team experimented with different weave patterns. They needed to find one that didn't provide any space for the proboscis to exploit, while at the same time offering comfort and breathability for tropical weather conditions. A tough ask. Continuing on, to the naked eye, the mosquito's proboscis, which it used to feed, appears needle-like, but Beckman points out that his appendage is so advanced and can go right through most fabrics thanks to a pair of saw-like bladed segments along its sides, microneedles that vibrate like a drill, and the ability to bend at 90 degrees. Quote, knitting is essentially like tying little knots. You're making loops and you're wrapping loops through loops, Beckman told Fast Company. If you do it in the right geometric ways, you can create a chainmail effect at the microscopic level. It took a lot of tweaking and refinement, but the finished fabric was described by one of his graduate students at Auburn University, Alabama, as something similar to um, Lululemon leggings. Continuing on, the team submitted a paper describing their findings and a test of the various weaves they used by way of putting a sleeved arm into a glass box full of mozzies and counting the bites. Now they plan to continue refining the technology with the aim of releasing a clothing line and licensing the weave to various outdoor companies. So we got a game changer here on this story here. Special fabric to alleviate mosquito bites, which is awesome because who would hate to get bitten by a mosquito? And then you get one of those bumps on your arms. Um, and again, I'm going to try to find what they called it. Beckman, who designed the new cloth weave, the simplest solutions are probably the best ones. And I know they put a name on there. They came up with a spandex polyester weave that's impermeable to the proboscis of the mosquito. So they just call it a spandex polyester weave, like cloth there. And with that, it will alleviate any mosquito bites. Pretty sure it's on a test right now, pending if it passes all the tests. That will alleviate mosquito bites, and we could see them in stores soon with this particular type of a cloth. So I think if it passes, that's a win-win. And instead of having to use bug spray off or different types of stuff to prevent the mosquito bites that can work somewhat but then don't, we can now have clothing. Probably like arm down, maybe. Hopefully, it'll be cool as well, not be too warm. Because it's weird to have long sleeves during the summer. But have something that will protect mosquito bites on our arms and our legs and everywhere else that matters. So hopefully it does well and passes tests. And hey, we could see them in stores soon with that special fabric. So good stuff there. So this fabric is designed to block mosquito bites, and this is from Andy Corbett of the Good News Network from May 23rd of 2023. All right, let's move on to story number 4 for this evening. Appreciate you guys so much for being in here. Welcome. We're on to story number 4 of 9 for this evening of Positive Stories. And after Positive Stories, stay tuned. We got two videos for positive videos. One's motivational and one's quotes. As always, quotes. We always do it at the very end of the show. All right, so story number 4 for this evening. City of Detroit surprises a single mom crossing guard with $50K at a Tigers game following viral TikTok posts. And this is from Andy Corbett of the Good News Network for May 23rd of 2023. So again, the city of Detroit surprises a single mom crossing guard with $50K at a Tigers game following a viral TikTok post. So if you guys are ready, we'll go ahead and drink up here for this next story. She seems like a nice lady looking at the picture. So let's go ahead and get started with that here. For no other reason than that she was a working mom with a great personality and an important job, making sure people drive safely through the city of Detroit. A traffic control officer was recently on the receiving end of all the goodness social media can weld. It started when TikTok account MD Motivators interviewed Lanita Edge on duty in the middle of the road, gabbing as she does with passersby and wishing people a happy Mother's Day. Before I continue on, I feel like I've seen a glimpse of the face looks familiar now. It was on TikTok. So this kind of looks familiar. I probably didn't go into the video, but her face looks familiar. And I think that's like probably the first things that was on the TikTok when I came on, going to TikTok. So maybe I have seen this, probably saw a glimpse of it. But let's continue on, see if I'm right here. She revealed in a video which went viral that she felt it was an important service to the city to help people get where they need to go and get home safely. She explained she was born and raised in the Motor City and was a Tigers fan. In that first video, Edge was surprised when the TikToker Zachary invited her to the Tigers game for Mother's Day. The working mom recently lost her husband and asked if the invitation was reliant on the fruits of her paycheck, at which point Zachary surprised her with $500. Meanwhile, Zachary had secretly set up a crowdfunding campaign that amassed $50,000, a gift simply for being her fine self, that was delivered on the grass in the Tigers ballpark. Quote, the people of Detroit have watched the video and donated an additional $50,000, he said. Her son and Detroit Tigers catcher Jake Rogers handed her the check. It was like a movie. It was beautiful. I feel very blessed to be able to just witness this, Zachary told ABC7 Detroit. All I am doing is showcasing who she is as an individual, and the people online came together and created this. God uses wonderful people every day, Edge said, explaining she was at a loss for words. I didn't know this man, and God used him to be a blessing to me. I couldn't thank him enough. I couldn't give God thanks enough. Now 9 million social media views later, and dozens of people stop along the crosswalk to say hello, congratulate, or wish her well. So this is the video coming up here of her, and maybe the TikTok creator as well in the video here. But let's go ahead and take a look at the story.
A Detroit traffic officer is going viral after she got an unexpected Mother's Day surprise from a famous TikToker.
Our Ibrahim Samra has more on Lanita Edge and her road to get you to the other side.
Let's cross.
When it's time to cross the street,
Enjoy the remainder of your evening.
you're taught to look both ways.
Be safe, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
But outside where the Tigers play,
On y'all clear. I got you.
Detroit traffic officer Lanita Edge
Be safe. Have a great evening. Oh, your hair is gorgeous.
is your eyes
Oh, you can walk it out. You're fine. I got you, hon.
and ears,
Shutting it down.
making sure no one gets hurt. But on Mother's Day in the D, her life would change from a $1 t-shirt.
Buy this mystery jersey for $1.
Sure. And there was so much going on that day. This guy comes up to me, you know, I'm waving traffic, doing my thing, and just wishing everybody happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms. And so when he asked me about purchasing a t-shirt, I'm like, well, I could, but I'm on duty right now. $1 for a jersey? Okay,
Are you a Tigers fan?
Of course, Tiger fan, yes. But he stood there so patient, like it didn't matter that I was doing traffic, that I would dare to say he was on a heavenly sent assignment,
We're going to the game. Right now.
Not receiving her full paycheck was her fear, but thanks to a famous TikTok influencer, he would surprise her with $500
And you got $500.
and a life-changing check that would bring her to tears.
Explain to me that feeling when you dropped to your knees after you found out that $50,000 was coming to your way.
Oh my word. Just thank you, Lord.
Now that she's back for the very first time,
Congratulations. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
since MD Motivators on TikTok made her cry,
Thank you.
she's back doing what she loves.
Yeah, we got him. Let's go.
9 million views later,
Congratulations, Clay. Well deserved, baby.
Thank you.
You know where it came from. You know where it came from.
All the time. Yeah, he did. Don't make me cry out here.
all thanks to a piece of cloth.
Who knew that a t-shirt would change my life?
At Woodward in Mount Calm,
You like surprises?
I'm Ibrahim Samra,
Because I got one for you.
and this
Give me a hug.
Okay, yeah, that's better. I didn't know if I could breathe.
is CBS News Detroit.
I'm like, oh, Lord, I think if my heart might blow, I don't know how much more I can take.
I'm so used to security guards and traffic officers outside games yelling at people to get across the street.
She just radiates
love
warmth and kindness, and I love that she was the person chosen for that. So deserving. And cherry on top, she gets a hug from Ibrahim Samra at the end of this amazing week.
Better than the cash, right?
Best.
Yeah, it's such a great story from Ibrahim, and congratulations to Lanita. How about that?
Great story indeed. Well deserved for her as well. She seemed like a very warm person there. She seems very easy crossing the traffic as well. But again, just imagine one day someone's going to come up to you and be like, "Hey, I want to get this T-shirt for $1. Do you have $1?" While doing something. And then you get blessed with a Tigers game. That's number one. Then you get $500. That's number two. And Then, while during the game, you get presented a check for $50K. That's kind of amazing. I know that will bless her life for for years to come. Something that will be sticking in her memory for a long, long, long time. So, but that is well deserved for her there. Um, During one of the most, I'd say, toughest jobs, crossing, get people across safely, from the park and to their cars and all of that. So, kudos to her. She really deserves it. And by the way, I think I have seen that video after I saw the glimpse of it. So, anyway, City of Detroit surprised a single mom crossing guard with 50K at a Tigers game following a viral TikTok post. And this is for Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for May 23rd of 2023. All right, let's go ahead and move on to story number 5, shall we? Story number 5 for this evening, and this is one of heroics. As we're going to talk about heroics, we're talking about a hero here, doing something here to, I guess, inspire his life again. 13 years after losing both legs in Afghanistan, veteran summits Everest, establishing world record. And this is from Andy Cordley of the Good News Network for May 23rd of 2023. So we're about to see a veteran here accomplishing a world record here. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started with our next story for this evening. A Nepali veteran of the British operations in Afghanistan has become the first double above the knee amputee to summit the world's tallest mountain. Hari Buddha Magar, who lives in Canterbury, reached the top at 3 p.m. last Friday, having started to climb on April 17th, 13 years to the day since he lost his legs in an IED explosion. Anyone with knowledge of the history of warfare knows about the almost mythical bravery and exceptionalism of the Gurkhas. Hari is one of these people, Gurkha being a historical term for a Nepali warrior and a modern legal term for a Nepali foreign fighter that isn't considered a mercenary under the Geneva Convention. In the face of that legacy, Hari's accomplishments is perhaps to be expected, though he certainly didn't feel like that 13 years ago, battling alcoholism and depression. Quote, I grew up in Nepal up to age of 19, and I saw how the disabled people were treated in those remote villages, he said. Many people still think that disability is a sin of previous life, and you are the burden of the earth. I believe this myself because that is what I saw. That is how I grew up. He tried to kill himself a pair of times, but eventually decided to climb Everest instead. However, there was a legal summit to conquer in his native Nepal before he could tackle the mountain so high no bird can fly over it. Continuing on. Disabled people had been banned by the Nepali government from attempting the mountain. Enough people die on the journey every year, and the authorities saw no reason to risk that. But Hari was able to overcome that roadblock and prepare for the real quest. PA News was at Everest Base Camp after Buddha Magar, supported by his all-Nepalese team, completed their descent from the peak. So there's a picture there of Hari there, like a couple of people there as well. So we move on. Quote, all of my jackets were completely freezing, he said. It was all frozen, even our warm water. We put hot water in the thermos, and that was also frozen, and we were not able to drink. He used a variety of interchangeable prosthetics for the climb, which included some equipped with ice spikes and other with mountaineering boots attached. Completing the mission, Buddha Magar says he wants to return to the spot in Afghanistan where he lost his legs in order to say thank you because he is still had his legs. He would never have climbed Everest. So, such an amazing story just to look at this. And again, lost his legs. And take a look, robotic legs as well, if you take a look at that picture there. lost his legs 13 years ago in Afghanistan. And today, or whenever this happened, he conquered the Everest Mountain. So, very, very historical indeed for him to do that. And just to say, you know what, I might be down all those years, but I'm not out. I'm there to prove something. And he proved it. There's some pictures there of him going up the mountains as well on that one there. So, Mr. Hari has defied the odds and went up the Everest Mountain there, and also got a world record out of it. So, kudos to him. Kudos for his service and his bravery, and congratulations to him as well. All right. So, 13 years after losing both legs, an Afghanistan veteran summits Everest, establishing world record. And this is from Andy Corbally of the Good News Network for May 23rd of 2023. Excuse me. I'm about to say 2013. All right, let's go ahead. Move on to story number 6 here. This evening, we're going back to Detroit. So we heard the story of the crossing guard winning $50K, 500 more, and just for doing an exceptional job at what she's doing. Now we're going back to Detroit again after taking a little bit of time in Nepal. And Detroit students build a house, then deliver it by truck for low-income housing. And this is from Andy Corbally of the Good News Network for May 26th of 2023. So just look at I think I have seen it maybe once or twice. But carrying a big house there in the back of a truck there. Just some amazing stuff, and students built it as well. So, well, if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started with our next story for this evening. So, here we go. It was a surreal sight for Pedro Rivera. A whole house was on the back of a trailer, driving down a Detroit suburban road. A house that he and his friends had built with their own hands. Quote, all my friends, we all looked at each other like, wow, this is what we did. Rivera, a student at Oakland School's Technical Campus Northeast, told 7 Action News. At the Technical Campus, students study to become specialists in carpentry, additions, or electrical work. But school instructor Aaron Sewitt, who led the project to build a 1,368 square foot home from the ground up, explained that it would help introduce the students to the whole gamut of construction trades. The program, which includes working alongside professional tradesmen, prepares the students for their own careers in construction and carpentry, many of which are sorely needed in the U.S. But it does something else as well. It provides a slow but steady supply of low and middle income housing units for Michigan, a state that lacks them. Continuing on, the home costs $100,000 in materials and will go on the market for around $170,000, about half the nationwide median listing price. Let me pause this video because I don't know that video went on. So I'm sorry. Let me continue. Quote, just seeing it get it lifted and everything, it was kind of like, wow, this is our accomplishment, Rivera said of the home built. It's going to a good family, good home, good neighborhood. It's nice. I don't know if this is, I don't think this is it. But anyway, let me try to refresh it. Give me just a second here. We'll try to refresh it because I think this is the one that had the crazy, the crazy video here where it just went ahead and played for no reason. So, we'll see what will happen there, but it's incredible. A group of students went ahead and built a house like that. Kind of a lesson on house building, and just to see their finished work, and then it's going away to another neighborhood for a low-income family is kind of awesome. So that's an incredible story there of what they did there. Okay, thank you. There we go. All right. So we're gonna pause that. So let me get my commentary, and then we'll just go ahead and see the video. But just an amazing, amazing feat of what those students did, and also helping out the community and helping out a family that might need a home to stay in at an affordable price. So good stuff with that, and also a learning technique as well, how to build a home, but also helping out others as well. All right, let's go ahead after this video, then we're going to move on to the next story. So let's go ahead and take a look at this.
The move is a symbol of success for students in Oakland County. The house they spent the school year building, ready to become a home. Crews moved it today from Perry Street to a permanent location on Melrose in Pontiac. 7 Action News reporter Darren Cunningham has more on the program that is the foundation for a brighter future.
This isn't something you see every day, let alone a bird's eye view of a home on wheels making its way to a new location a half a mile away on Melrose Street. It was the talk of the town and parts of Pontiac this morning.
All my friends and everything, we all looked at each other like, wow, this is what we did.
The newly built home is the handiwork of the second-year construction students at Oakland School's Technical Campus Northeast, high school students like 18-year-old Pedro Rivera. His instructor, Aaron Sweat, guided 26 students for the past 7 months to make it happen.
It's a 1,368 square foot house that we built from the ground up.
Sweat says many organizations partner to make this annual project possible. I want to show you, this is where the building process takes place, from blueprint to framework to finishing touches and everything in between. He says students work with professional tradesmen throughout the process.
They usually have an idea of what they want to do. I want to flip houses, or I want to be a carpenter, or I want to build decks. And then we get in, we start building the house. They get exposed to some careers that they never even knew existed.
This program helps get students ready for the workforce, but it does something else important. It provides an affordable housing option for low to moderate income home buyers. As we've reported, affordable housing is in short supply in Michigan. Just this past September, the state announced the plan to try and boost the housing stock for low and middle income households by 13,500 units.
And just seeing it getting lifted and everything, it was kind of like, wow, like this is our accomplishment, and it's going to a good family, good home, good neighborhood, and it's nice.
In Pontiac, Darren Cunningham, 7 Action News.
All right, so there was the video right there. Again, they did some a good deed to help out a family there, and again, a good educational experience for them. So Detroit students build a house, then deliver it by truck for low-income housing. And this is from Andy Corbally of the Good News Network for May 26th of 2023. All right, let's move on to story number 7. So after this, we got 2 more stories before we get to videos here. And our next story is of lost and found, I will say. Ring lost down the toilet 13 years ago is discovered at wastewater treatment facility 1,000 feet from her home. And this is from Andy Corbally of the Good News Network for May 26th of 2023. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started with story number 7 here. And like a nice ring as well. But let's go ahead and get started with the story. A woman in Minnesota has been reunited with an anniversary ring she accidentally flushed down the toilet 13 years ago. It was found in a sewage treatment plant just 1,000 feet from the woman's home, in time to wear it for her 46th wedding anniversary. Mary Strand received the ring from her husband, Dave, as an anniversary present after 33 years of wedlock. But while using the downstairs bathroom, the wet, perhaps soapy, perhaps incorrectly sized ring slipped off and spiraled down the proclaimed throne into oblivion. Continuing on, as it turned out, Dave ran a drain and sewage company and quickly used the camera to scour 200 feet of drain pipe to see if he could spot the ring. Alas, it seemed to have journeyed into the great brown beyond. Quote, I was thinking he'll never buy me another ring. That's what I was thinking, Mary said with a huge laugh in front of reporters on Wednesday. I felt really bad because it was a gift. So we got a Twitter post here. Metropolitan Council, it says, recently we found a ring at one of our regional wastewater treatment plants. This is a rare occurrence, and we want to return the ring to its owner. Please contact us if you lost a wedding ring down the drain. So maybe we got an ad here that we're about to read to next. Let's continue on with the story. 13 years later, John Tierney, a mechanical maintenance manager for the cities of Rogers Metropolitan Council's 9 wastewater treatment plants, was shoveling debris from one of the equipment with a few co-workers when they saw something sparkling. After they put out the call on their Twitter account above that we just read, literally hundreds of people who had lost wedding rings called in. But because of the distinctive form, it was easy to determine whom it didn't belong to. Continuing on, one photo sent in looked a perfect match, and after professional examination, they determined it was indeed Strand who could claim the ring. Quote, by the way, the water treatment plant in Rogers where Mary's ring was found is located on Diamond Lake Road, wrote KRE11 News. Coincidence? We think not. So let's go ahead and take a look at the story of Miss Strand finding the ring in the wastewater treatment facility. Let's go ahead and get started with that. Oops.
So a woman was reunited with that ring that she lost 13 years ago, but she didn't just lose it. She accidentally did something any of us could do, including me. She flushed it down the toilet on accident way back when. So employees at a wastewater treatment plant just happened to find it last month. 13 years later, the odds of that are astronomical. This story has so many twists and turns, a lot like the journey of the ring, so let's get to it. Here's Jennifer Hoff.
There are hundreds of wastewater treatment plants across Minnesota.
The inflow comes in.
John Tierney works at one in Rogers and last month made a unique discovery.
I've heard stories, but I don't know of anybody else that's found rings.
A diamond ring amongst the debris that made news back then.
Anybody who lost it, they would be able to describe it identically to the way it looks.
The rare find fielding hundreds of phone calls when the employees posted it on social media, trying to find its rightful owner.
It's 10-karat gold.
Jeweler approved and eventually a match to many of Mary Strand's pictures.
What did you guys do to my ring? That's my ring.
Well, welcome everybody. We are so excited.
The Metropolitan Council reuniting the two today, 13 years after Mary says she accidentally flushed it down the toilet while washing her hands at her house that sits just 1,000 feet from the plant.
I couldn't believe it.
It getting stuck all these years somewhere inside that, had it not been found, would have ultimately ended up in a landfill.
I would say it's been on a journey for 13 years.
The ring may be bent now, but back then it was an unexpected anniversary present to celebrate the couple's 33 years. Mary, not one to usually wear jewelry, her husband well aware she'd actually lost an engagement band once before.
She never had anything on her fingers for a long time, so I figured, I better get her something.
I was thinking, he'll never buy me another ring.
What they never thought is that they'd never find it. David, devoted to drains now for decades as the owner of his own sewer cleaning company.
You know, they pulled the toilet, and like he said, he took it out on the deck, and they were rolling the toilet to see if it was stuck in there.
Put our camera down the line, our sewer camera.
He would run it down some 200 feet out, right out the line from the house, but no such luck.
We didn't see anything.
Writing it off back then, but thankful now.
I should have went and bought a lottery ticket.
Even more so hopeful, Mary doesn't lose it again.
Mary says she's, of course, still shocked that this ring was returned all these years later. She has every intention of getting it reset now and wearing it as the couple is about to celebrate their 46th wedding anniversary this fall. In Rogers, Jennifer Hoff, KARE 11 News.
Mary should insure that ring. And she also told Jennifer she's lost actually a third ring, a gold band her dad gave her mom that flew off of her finger when she stuck her hand out of the window of a car. I feel you, Mary. I feel you.
So the moral of this story is Mary needs no more rings. Mary needs no more rings. I think after she finds that ring, just frame it, find a box, keep it in there, and just be grateful you found the ring after 13 years in a wastewater facility. But no more rings, no more jewelry for her. But that's an incredible story. 13 years, you never thought you will see the ring again, and bam, it comes back. Perfect match. And so I'm proud. I'm glad she got the ring back. Very good, incredible story there. So ring lost down the toilet 13 years ago is discovered at wastewater treatment facility 1,000 feet from her home, and it's from Andy Corbally of the Good News Network from May 26th of 2023. All right, story number 8, the next to the last story of positive stories here. And again, coming up later on, we will have positive videos, one of motivation and one of quotes. So those will be the 2 videos for this evening. All right, story number 8. Here we go. Mom became pregnant while already pregnant, conceiving twins 28 days apart in age. And this is from the Good News Network from May 28th of 2023. So I'm going to read that title again. Mom became pregnant while already pregnant, conceiving twins 28 days apart in age. So this is going to be an interesting story to read here. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and take a look at story number 8. An extra fertile mother was overjoyed when she discovered she was pregnant again while already pregnant after apparently conceiving her twins 28 days apart. Sophie Small conceived Holly and Darcy 1 month apart due to an incredibly rare phenomenon known as superfetation, where a new pregnancy occurs after the first one. Sophie and her accountant husband, Jonathan, who already had a 6-year-old son named Oscar, were trying for another baby. Although the 30-year-old had an inkling that she was pregnant, the couple decided to keep trying just in case. The swimming instructor was thrilled when she took a pregnancy test and discovered it was positive. But after extreme morning sickness landed her in the hospital 7 times, a 7-week scan showed she was pregnant with twins. The 2 babies were different sizes, and doctors were stumped as to why, until they realized she ovulated twice. The couple only discovered the tots weren't conceived at the same time after the birth in August 2020, when Darcy was born weighing 4 pounds 2 ounces, and her sister followed 2 minutes later, weighing 6 pounds 1 ounce. Quote, I was carrying 2 babies who were growing at different stages, but we didn't know that, explained Sophie from Herefordshire, England. So those are the 2 babies there. You see there, as we continue on. Quote, they couldn't work out why I was so sick. I had a scan at 7 weeks and they said they could tell something wasn't right. They couldn't work out why one twin was bigger than the other. They had their own sacs and placentas so they could feed when they wanted to. Continuing with the quote, when they were born, there were a 35% growth difference between the 2 of them, which is massive, and they, the staff, realized they've been conceived 4 weeks apart. Darcy was a 32-week baby, and Holly was a 36-week baby. I said it couldn't be right. I never heard of it. I didn't know how it happened. She says although the Tots are twins, they couldn't be more different. Girly girl Holly still weighs 6 pounds more than tomboy Darcy. The mom says she likes to confuse strangers in the street who stop to ask how many minutes are between the girls. Many don't believe her when she says they're twins. Telling one, quote, I say Darcy is 2 minutes older and 4 weeks younger, while Holly was born 2 minutes after, but is 4 weeks older. They don't even look like sisters. You wouldn't even know, said Sophie. Holly has blonde hair, big, beautiful blue eyes, and wants to be a princess or a jockey. Darcy's hair is a mousy brown hair. She is a tomboy and wants to be a train driver. They started nursery school and they are very confident. It was so difficult, but they're absolutely thriving. So imagine that 4 weeks apart, but born on the same day. Very incredible. That is kind of a weird phenomenon to read there. 4 weeks apart, born at the same time. One's growing already, and the other one's just conceiving. So, that's very incredible, and it's a rare occurrence. Again, they have the name for it, superfetation, if you're interested in that. But that's a very rare occurrence of that. I've never heard of that either. So, but she has 2 healthy baby girls now, which is awesome there to read. So, kudos to her. Congrats to her and her husband on the twins there. But a very interesting story to tell on that as well. So, mom became pregnant while already pregnant, conceiving twins 28 days apart in age. And this is from the Good News Network for May 28th of 2023. All right, we are on to our last story for this evening. And this one, I actually saw on the Mental Health Hours Discord page. Someone posted it up on their Discord page, and I've read it. And it's a very interesting story. So, about someone going through alcohol and how they survived alcoholism and all of that. So, I thought maybe this will be a great last story to bring up here. And this is from Australia as well. So, a recovering alcoholic who used to drink a bottle of whiskey by 3 p.m. celebrates the year sober. And this is from the ABC Radio Melbourne by Matilda Morazzi. And this is from the May 4th, 24th of 2023. So if you guys are ready, this is our last story for this evening before we get the videos. So here we go. Get a drink here as well. All right, here we go. After 2 decades of hard drinking, Phil Hoy had accepted alcohol was going to kill him. Quote, I thought this is what I'm going to die of, he told ABC Radio Melbourne's Jacinta Parsons. I'm already too far in. I've already stuffed my body. Mr. Hoy says he enjoyed being drunk at first. Then it got to the stage where his first drink was at 10 a.m. and he had polished off a bottle of whiskey by 3 p.m. And that's at work, he says. Then I knock off and go buy some beers and pretty much be unconscious in bed by 8 o'clock at night. The next morning he would call his wife to ask what had happened the night before. For a period of time, Mr. Hoy stopped going to work altogether without letting his wife know. One morning, I can remember looking at the bottle of whiskey thinking, I really don't want it, but I knew I had to have it, he says. Then when I realized the impact of withdrawals, Mr. Hoy thought giving up alcohol would be too hard. He has now realized other people had given up on him becoming sober as well. People just thought, well, that's Phil, he says. No one was shocked to see a can in my hand at any time of the day. I think that meant my, but. So, a life-changing invitation. Here we go, our next part here. Then last year, Mr. Hoy was invited to a gig in Geelong, a city about 2.5 hours east of his home in regional Victoria. He really wanted to go, but knew he couldn't stay sober long enough to get there. The person who invited Mr. Hoy to the gig suggested he try being sober, just for one day, to experience what it would be like. They connected him to Rich, a postgraduate qualified psychotherapist specializing in substance use disorder. Rich also has lived experience and is in long-term recovery from alcohol dependence. Quote, Rich rang up and told me he'd been through exactly the same thing, Mr. Hoy says. He said it sounds like alcohol has nothing left for you. Sick of missing out, Mr. Hoy made a visit to the doctor. Initially, he didn't admit the true extent of the problem to the general practitioner. Quote, then I picked a random GP that I didn't know, and I went in and I spilled my guts, he said. I tried to go 24 hours without drinking. I couldn't. Then I went back and tried again, got some medication, and it worked. On his third day sober, Mr. Hoy called Rich and told him he couldn't believe how good he felt. I've forgotten how good life was and how good I could feel, he says. I replaced the beers now with bats. With moral support from his wife and Rich, and medical support from a GP and counselor, this May, Mr. Hoy is celebrating a year sober. In a few months, he plans on taking up that invitation to go to a gig in Geelong. And the most important step, this is another part of the story. Rich treats people with substance use disorder. He says regardless of how deep-rooted alcohol addiction may be, there is always help available. Quote, if you can identify with Phil's state of depression, of desperation, and hopelessness a year ago, I hope you can identify that there is hope, Rich says. If you just reach out to the right resources, you'll find the people are there ready to listen, free of judgment and free to set you on some type of path to a recovery journey that's your own. Rich says tackling alcohol dependence is different for everyone, but it's the first step that is the most important step. He recommends getting on the phone to Turning Point's direct line, Alcoholics Anonymous, or making an appointment with a health professional as a first step. Once the initial action is in place, then we can gather momentum and support that aligns with what we're looking for, Rich says. So I thought this was an interesting story out of Australia that kind of someone posted on the Mental Health Hour Discord. Just say, hey, we all have our problems, alcohol, drugs, all of that. But it takes one person to realize, hey, try it without one day, see what happens. How different your life will be without doing it. And for Rich there, that one day turned into, hey, I need help, and got the help he needed from his friend, Rich there. And now a year later, he's sober, which is awesome. So I thought that was a good story to read there to close out the positive stories segment there. So kudos to him. Recovering alcoholic who used to drink a bottle of whiskey by 3 p.m. celebrates a year sober. And again, this is from the ABC Radio in Melbourne for May 24th of 2023. So that will end positive stories here. As we get ready to set up for positive videos, again, only 2 videos this evening. And our first one, oops, I jumped ahead. See, I thought I reset it. Anyway, pause it, bam. There we go. Might play a commercial there. It will. But 2 videos for tonight. One's of motivation, and another is of quotes. We always end the show with quotes. So our motivational video tonight is to master your emotions, your emotional state, and what she can do to, make it better. So Eddie Pinero, I think I have done a video with him before. Great speaker. I think a couple of y'all really enjoyed what he spoke. So this is a complication of him with some speeches on emotions. So it is 33 minutes long. So I only got 2 videos for tonight, but hopefully you will enjoy the messages he gives out. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started with the first video for this evening. Here we go. Oh, before we do that, hold on.
I remember running one day. This was years ago now. I lived a little bit further south, was jogging down the Hollywood Beach boardwalk. And that particular day happened to be a struggle. I think I just underestimated the heat and, felt beat up on my way back. But as I was passing all these people who were walking on the boardwalk, some going to the beach, some were going to get food, everyone was kind of doing their thing. I just remember thinking how funny it was that in that, that 1 second glance that happens between two people as they pass one another, that no one I was passing knew how awful I felt. And they'd never know. It felt odd to me that so much hurt could be hidden in plain sight. Not that in a million years I'd want them to know or they needed to know, but it's the idea that this bridge between their world and mine would never be crossed, that my little hell was a secret the Hollywood boardwalk would keep forever. In a way, it's kind of crazy to think about. How someone can be going through their own struggle, and it's never apparent to passersby. Right? Think about that. The vast majority of chaos on planet Earth, it goes unseen. Everyone's just kind of carrying around their own invisible burdens. That Hollywood boardwalk probably keeps more secrets than I can comprehend. And I've talked about this before. How, over time, one of my biggest mental shifts was detaching from this notion that everyone has it all figured out and I'm the one stumbling through. Everyone else jumps out of bed, excited, screaming, "Let's go world, let's do this," right? Well, I dealt with my unease and my concerns. And that's just wrong, right? Yeah, there's certainly variability in everyone's problems. We're not all the same. But everyone is climbing their own mountain. Everyone has their own cross to bear. I remember a quote from Viktor Frankl. He said, "To draw an analogy, a man's suffering is similar to the behavior of a gas. If a certain quantity of gas is pumped into an empty chamber, it will fill the chamber completely and evenly, no matter how big the chamber. Thus, suffering completely fills the human soul and conscious mind, no matter whether the suffering is great or little. Therefore, the size of human suffering is absolutely relative." Eye-opening message. Relative and felt by all. See, there's 2 things I take from this. First, and probably the most obvious, I think it calls for us to be more compassionate to others, at least as much as we can. I've fallen short here plenty of times, we all do, but it reminds us that it should be a North Star. And 2, there's a pragmatic element here, signifying that very rarely is what goes on around us about us. Very rarely is it personal. Because often our first instinct is to assign intentionality to things that happen around us. How could this happen to me? How could they do this to me? And in truth, it's just not about you. Again, the deepest, most complex aspects of human beings are invisible to everyone but the person they're happening to. Everyone is, to some extent, running down their own boardwalk on a hot summer day. So going back to that example, let's make up a scenario. Let's say I clumsily bumped into someone, ran too close to them. They could think jerk. They could think get in your lane. They could think pay attention, have some respect, I'm walking here. But would that situation be the product of my disrespect? Or would it be the fact that I'm exhausted, that I'm hot, that I'm dehydrated and only counting steps in my head? Buildings could have been collapsing around me and I would have had no idea. I'm focused on making it through. See, there's value in understanding this. So much value. The world is not working against you. It's comprised of 8 billion souls with different movies playing in their heads, and you can get more from it when you understand that. You can be more valuable when you understand that. You can give yourself more grace when you understand that. People cannot see your pain and you can't see theirs. But it is a shackle being removed to take life's events less personally, less seriously even. As you create something beautiful in your own world, understand that there are no true adversaries. I remember reading in the Four Agreements a while back, and this is kind of a sloppy paraphrasing, but people don't do things because of you. They do things because of themselves. And so, as you run your race, as you make your way into the world, understand that everything around you is assigned value by you. And those passers-by aren't for or against you. They are in the midst of various personal journeys, trying to run their own races, as are you. Look, the sun is hot. That humidity can be suffocating. The path laid out before you is long. These are tough obstacles that you have to overcome, that we all have to overcome. And in time you will. But don't create additional adversaries that do not exist. Don't imprison yourself with stories that don't hold up. It's not all about you. And understanding that, as it turns out, can be what makes all the difference. We are the stories we tell ourselves. I used to tell the maybe someday story until I saw the value contained in the why not today story. I was the main character in the how do I not mess things up story until I pushed my way into the how about capturing life's upside story. I believed wholeheartedly in the what will my friends, acquaintances, people I used to know think of me story before I felt the freedom of the you don't live life for them, you live life for you story. My scarcity story preceded my abundance story. My bowing before the odds story preceded my simply do not stop story. My you don't deserve them story preceded my if you're not a net positive on my life, I don't want you around story. My maybe I can be that impactful, add that much value, make that much money, have that much fun story preceded my I'm going to do all those things. Now how do I arrange these pieces to support my mission story. As I've grown and learned and changed, so have the stories that I've told myself. And I can look back and always draw a direct line from the stories I was telling and the life I was living. We get in life what we allow, and our narratives, our stories, happen to be the gatekeepers. If you want to change the situation, change the story, right? If you're telling yourself the world is against you, you'll live like the world is against you. If you're telling yourself the world is conspiring to help you live your best, you'll find the opportunity where you otherwise wouldn't. And you'll find it not through magic, but because you're looking for it. It's that simple. We don't look for things that go against our narratives. We don't seek things out that we don't believe exist. Those internal stories prompt our action, and our action changes our reality. Since finding this a few weeks ago, it's become one of my favorite ideas. Alan Watts, speaking to a classroom of students, he says, when a flag is flapping in the wind, is it the wind or the flag that moves? Neither. It is the mind that moves. Our minds are moving, they are internalizing and painting the portrait that becomes our reality. If you don't like the reality you're seeing, guess what? It's not the world, it's how you're viewing the world. It's what you're doing about your world. And I understand how hard it can get, how we all oscillate between periods of struggle and contentment, how low the lows can feel. I get it. But the truth is, the wrong stories will simply keep you down, hold you there. They'll ensure blinders stay on as life rotates around you and the opportunity dissipates. We are the stories we tell ourselves. And that's beautiful news because it means the reflection in the mirror holds the key to transformation. Life can give you the details, the context, but it can't write the script. That, my friend, is all you. It's impossible to know how this story ends. I don't think we're expected to, nor do we need to. But we do need to be willing to light up the 10 feet in front of us. We need to be willing to illuminate the now. It's how little nothings transition into those very meaningful somethings. One illuminated piece of the puzzle at a time. They say that complexity is the enemy of progress. Things seem too big, too far away. When all the world appears dark, we pause. We become crippled by how much we don't know. We hide in the shadows of life's unknown. But I have, and hopefully will until my final days, hold on to the idea that we have within us enough light, just enough light, to brighten up the path before us, directly in front of us. It's always been just enough to get through anything. When the world is dark, you can't see the hand in front of your face, it will always be true that you possess the ability to cut through that darkness, to highlight the next stepping stone. There's just enough light to collect the data and information sufficient to make one more logical decision. One more. To take one shaky and uncertain step it's amazing what they become over time. See, I've spent some time in that metaphorical darkness. I've also been in the light. I've believed, I've had all the answers and been brutally humbled by life. There have also been times where I bet on myself when the odds were small and emerged victorious. Whether up, down, high or low, the saving grace was remembering that if I turned the light on, the headlamp initiating from my eyes and projecting out into the world, it would always provide enough for me to do perhaps the most important thing I'm capable of doing, moving forward. There's no skipping in life, no jumping races to arrive at any particular finish line. But there is always enough to carry on. This realization has been interesting to me. Our struggle, when it emerges, it's usually not derived from an inability to do the right thing. It's not like we're missing something. No, our struggle comes from thinking we need more than we do. It's frustration that our goals are so big and so far away and so out of reach. We lose sight of what we can control, blinded by a standard that no human can live up to. Stop beating yourself up for not being a god. No mere mortal ever leapt a mountain. Everything is not the goal. One thing is the goal, and you are capable of one thing. Everyone is capable of one thing, one little action to initiate momentum and push you further into that unknown. But where? You might wonder. I need to know where. To which I say, breathe. Because the wheres make themselves known when you're in motion. As you move forward, the wrong destinations prompt you to learn and then self-correct. And the right ones inspire you to push further in their direction. Both valuable, right? The only way to lose is not go. The only way to lose is to say, because I don't have it all figured out, I'll remain right here. Like a toddler refusing to put a puzzle together because he can't see the completed mural in each individual piece. The whole point is to put it together. The fun is to put it together. The growth and the value is in putting it together. And I get it. We want to know, right? Humans want to know. That's why evolving is hard. We have to be okay with not knowing. And that's what life is about, formulating your hypothesis and then letting the data derived from your progress alter your approach. That data is not gifted to you while you stand stagnant. So the question is, will you sign that dotted line? The one that says, when you can't see the mountaintop, what you will be left with is solely trust in yourself that you can bring it about. It's easy to say yes when the sky is blue and the birds are singing. But amidst the storms, when your mind begins to whisper that perhaps it will never end, when it begins to ask you if there was ever even a point, after all, look around, there's nothing but gray. That is when you have to remember the rules of the game. That's when you have to remind yourself it's not about knowing, it's about trusting, about creating puzzle pieces, not finishing murals. Anyone can create just one puzzle piece, and then just one more, and just one more. Because yes, it's difficult, as is life, but you'll remember why as you move into the storm and watch all those little pieces connect around you. Remember what's yours to control and what's not, what must be let go. Remember that nothing is so futile as attempting to move the immovable or change the unchangeable. Remember that your greatest strength is focusing your time, talents, and efforts, exhausting your energy on that which you can control. And sometimes this distinction hurts. But to fail to see it is to shackle oneself to delusion. Right? You can complain about the weather all day, but to complain about it, to focus on it, to be stuck in it is not going to change it. Your time would be better suited looking at how to adjust yourself to it. And that's what life repeatedly tells us. There's plenty we aren't happy about, plenty we wish we could change. But to stay there in that space is to forfeit your greatness, your strength. Why? Because there is so much you can control, so much you can do. You can always position yourself to succeed. But that calls for first separating what's yours and what's not. Right? There are people I wish were different. There are situations I prayed were alterable. There are outcomes that are given without my asking. That's just life. And a losing mentality is to fight that, to feel anger or resentment at the people that let you down. Why couldn't they be how I want them to be? It's to dwell on the situation that occurred despite your wishes. Why couldn't it have just happened my way? It's to refuse to acknowledge the outcomes that have already materialized. Right? Why couldn't it just have evolved differently? All that, as hard as it is to see, is embracing a mentality of victimhood. It's walking down a path that has no desirable destination in store for you. When you accept the unchangeable, you then become the architect of your reality. Sure, people, places, and outcomes weren't always the best, but now you ask, how can I navigate around it, or better yet, use it to my advantage? It is, to use the famous metaphor, not shaking your fist at the wind, but building sails for your boat, creating a path to take you somewhere new. So let the energy, the time, and emotion that's wasted on the immovable dissolve. The question worth asking is, where do you most want to be, and how can you get there? And while those details outside the scope of your control can feel like a bottomless gap in your way, I promise that what's around you is enough to build a bridge over it. There's enough there for you to find your way, so long as we learn to separate the gap from the bridge, the details from the solutions. When all you see is why you can't go, or how it can't be solved, or how impossible something is, it's not that you are looking at an unfortunate truth, it's that you are looking at the wrong supporting evidence. When we stop seeing the details and outside circumstances as the deciders of fate, we win. When we place our eyes upon the controllable, when we step into what is ours to move and shape and transform, we finally see that the journey to something bigger is not only possible, it is inevitable. The road to this moment wasn't an easy one. There were times where you thought you knew, but simply didn't. There were plans made that drastically differed from the ones fate had prepared. There were days that made you question yourself, your beliefs, that made you ask, what is my purpose? Look, to live is to have felt these things, asked these questions, to have seen firsthand the discrepancy between what we draw up and how life unfolds. And I think about this discrepancy often. The swings and misses, they hurt. You know, that quick shiver you feel down your spine when thinking about the wrong turns made. The tugging at your heartstrings when reflecting back on things said, or perhaps worse, left unsaid. It's easy to get lost in that feedback loop, letting the past dictate the present, letting yesterday define today. But here's what I've come to see as the truth. To experience the things that make life beautiful, we have to be vulnerable in a way we otherwise wouldn't. Open ourselves up to an unknown that, we could have skipped altogether if we really wanted to. All that pain, all that hurt the past provided could very easily be the reason you shut down, the reason you play small. That hell you walked through could be your justification for never stepping out into the chaos of life again. That would, at first glance, appear to make sense. Seem ideal, even. But that pain could also be the reason you look around you and say, after all that, after experiencing everything life threw at me, I'm still here. And as I stand here now, I'm looking out at an array of possibility that is infinite. I'm equipped with an understanding and a worldview that was once foreign to me. I'm armed with a perspective that has changed my life for the better. By stepping out into the often dangerous, brutal, unforgiving world, I have elevated myself. And that has made all the difference. And while it may feel intuitive to run from a reiteration of yesterday's pain, it's wisdom that urges us to instead use that pain as a multiplier. The key to something more, something miraculous. Not to cower because we once endured it, but to stand tall because we overcame it. And that's what we often miss. We can think back to the adversity, sure, but we're often unable to see how that adversity shaped us. Our own strength, it's never going to scream out at us. It's never going to let us know it's there. We have to take the time to acknowledge its presence. We have to peer over our shoulders to see how far we've traveled. We'll always have obstacles before us. But if we don't stop and assess, we won't see that the obstacles have gotten bigger. Not because life's gotten harder, but because our own evolution has permitted us to step into bigger arenas. It has equipped us to take on larger adversaries. A simple willingness to be vulnerable has become the flame that lit up your soul. So the question is, will you step out? Will you see that vulnerability not as a crack in the foundation or a chink in the armor, but as strength? To love, it requires accepting a susceptibility to being hurt. To play the game requires an acceptance that you just might come up short. To bet on yourself means understanding that you might fall right on your face. To want more than you have now means acknowledging that you might be humbled along the way. This is what it means to live. Giving a piece of yourself in order to acquire that which means the most. The torturous, often counterintuitive willingness to step out into the darkness of night when your heart races and your mind moves 1,000,000 miles a minute. That's vulnerable. That is power. And it's an investment in a tomorrow that otherwise would not have been available to you. You are not your past. You are the wisdom derived from its lessons, the courage removed from its trials, and the hurt that was perhaps at one point the only thing you felt. It's not your reason to shrink into yourself. It's your reason to step back out, to say to the universe, I have the strength to again dance with the unknown, to risk the short-term discomforts that life often hands out like candy in exchange for the chance years from now to look at your reflection and say, I got back up. I did the hard thing. I followed my heart. I wandered into that darkness to obtain the wondrous reality that is, for a time, concealed. I did that. So love again. Grow again. Try again. Build again. Believe again. See again. Feel again. Step out into the world again. This is who you are. Underneath the fear and insecurity, underneath all those reasons to not go, there lives the beginning of the miracle that is life. And it won't be easy. The timing will never feel perfect, but the question will always exist. It will always exist within an arm's reach of where you stand. Can you be that vulnerable? Can you be that courageous? And not just when things are going well, but amidst the turmoil, the chaos, the self-doubt, when your memory only wants to play highlight reels of where things went wrong, where you swung and missed. Will you choose to see those moments not as the chains that confine you, but as the strength that elevates you? Will you be vulnerable enough to give away some of you in order to expand and transform all of you?
A very powerful ending on the motivational quotes there. The motivation by Mr. Eddie Pinero there, and mastering your emotions. And yeah, that last one definitely got me drawn in. It's like you have your challenges and you have to face them, which is so true. So very true, to face what life can throw at you, and what you can do to better yourself in that situation. So, Mr. Eddie Pinero there, hopefully you guys enjoyed those separate motivational speeches he did there. Great, great person. As I said, I try to play him as much as possible. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Brenda, Civic Stage Manager, welcome to the show here. So good to see you, and thank you for the resub. Really do appreciate you. And one of the mods here, great mod on this channel. Brenda says he made a lot of good points. I have to go back and listen to him from the beginning. Yes, check back on the replays. Check back on the Discord. Hopefully, I might post it after the show tonight. If not, then probably tomorrow. But he really is a good motivational speaker. He really is, and I think first time I played him, I think Nancy and one other person really liked what he said there for some of his stuff. So he's a very, very good speaker, and anything that I can find for him, I'll try to pull it up and for y'all to listen. But I think that's one of the longest videos I've played of him, and he doesn't fail. He really doesn't fail. So, all right, so we're actually at the end of our show here, and always near the end of the show we do quotes, and tonight's quote is from Benjamin Franklin. So hopefully you guys will enjoy the quotes here. It is our quote segment. This is the last thing we play for the show. So if you guys are ready, about 10 minutes of quotes from Mr. Franklin here. Let's go ahead and get started with that. Oh, I had to interrupt there. It's fine, Brenda. I hate that I can't get here. It's fine. Hey, I always say there's always replays. Replays and Discords as well. So, but I appreciate you being in here, though. I really do. Really do appreciate it.
Ruin an apology with an excuse. Whatever is begun in anger ends in shame. Buy that thou hast no need of, and ere long thou shalt sell thy necessities. If a man empties his purse into his head, no one can take it from him. Love your enemies, for they tell you your faults. There are 3 faithful friends, an old wife, an old dog, and ready money. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. You may delay, but time will not. If you would know the value of money, go and try to borrow some. Beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship. Laziness travels so slowly that poverty soon overtakes him. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. He that lies down with dogs shall rise up with fleas. He that displays too often his wife and his wallet is in danger of having both of them borrowed. Fatigue is the best pillow. They who can give up essential liberty to obtain little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. He that can have patience can have what he will. It is the first responsibility of every citizen to question authority. Those things that hurt instruct. Having been poor is no shame, but being ashamed of it is. Time is money. I didn't fail the test. I just found 100 ways to do it wrong. Well done is better than well said. Many people die at 25 and aren't buried until they are 75. Life's biggest tragedy is that we get old too soon and wise too late. One today is worth 2 tomorrows. Rather go to bed without dinner than to rise in debt. At 20 years of age, the will reigns. At 30, the wit. And at 40, the judgment. Never leave till tomorrow that which you can do today. To succeed, jump as quickly at opportunities as you do at conclusions. Lost time is never found again. Where there is marriage without love, there will be love without marriage. Haste makes waste. 3 may keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. Dost thou love life? Then do not squander time, for that's the stuff life is made of. Educate your children to self-control, to the habit of holding possession and prejudice and evil tendencies subject to an upright and reasoning will, and you will have done much to abolish misery from their future and crimes from society. Keep your eyes wide open before marriage, half shut afterwards. We do not stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. Work as if you were to live 1,000 years. Play as if you were to die tomorrow. Contentment makes poor men rich. Discontent makes rich men poor. You will find the key to success under the alarm clock. A penny saved is a penny earned. Fear not death, for the sooner we die, the longer we shall be immortal. Be at war with your vices, at peace with your neighbors, and let every new year find you a better man. Be slow in choosing a friend, slower in changing. When you are finished changing, you're finished. When you're testing to see how deep water is, never use 2 feet. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Happiness depends more on the inward disposition of mind than on outward circumstances. Be civil to all, sociable to many, familiar with few, friend to one, enemy to none. If a man could have half of his wishes, he would double his troubles. Speak ill of no man, but speak all the good you know of everybody. To find out a girl's faults, praise her to her girlfriends. A house is not a home unless it contains food and fire for the mind as well as the body. Security without liberty is called prison. Instead of cursing the darkness, light a candle. If all printers were determined not to print anything till they were sure it would offend nobody, there would be very little printed. Never confuse motion with action. Early to bed and early to rise in old age makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Do not trust your money to a person who likes to count other people's money. The woman who wants the most sex is the one who often yearns for a deeper sense of intimacy, yet may struggle to find it through physical means alone. Wine is proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy. The heart of a fool is in his mouth, but the mouth of a wise man is in his heart. There was never a bad peace or a good war. We must all hang together, or assuredly we shall all hang separately. A slip of the foot you may soon recover, but a slip of the tongue you may never get over. Never ruin an
Come on. Okay, there we go. So that was quotes from Benjamin Franklin there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I say some of those quotes, to say for now, it was very much needed today. um, I should say for that, for most of those. I know Brenda said so true about growing old. So I wonder if that's the one. He said something about people grow old too fast, so they'll grow old too early, but it's has be wise late or something like that. I kind of like that. Was it penny earned is penny made, something like that, and then the time is money. Good stuff, good quotes by him. And then I like the wine one too. And then we talked about something about getting up early. And I was like, same, but I can't get up early. If I am up early, I'm working my overnight shift. So, but getting up early, it's probably going to be like 9 or 10 a.m. for me. It was the fourth or fifth one, I think. Okay, that might have been the. I don't know. It could have been more, going back over, but Ben Franklin has a lot of good quotes. Very, very good quotes on there. So I thought maybe I will put that on this evening for you guys, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the quotes for this evening as well. Let me do something real quick for a minute here because I forgot to do it, and this particular individual that I'm about to shout out here to close out our shows did this very early on his vacation. So let's see. Instagram is so weird on the web. Okay, hold on for a sec, guys. Well, you know what? While we do that, I'm going to talk. I can talk while while I'm going to try to close out the show. Make sure to follow my Discord. Write that down here. There you go. Make sure to follow my Discord. Did you have a good weekend? I had a good weekend, Brenda. I had a very good weekend. Let's see, is this it? Oh, okay, yeah, that's. I'll probably post up a couple of his things there. I had a very good weekend. I did. Just rest. Um, Went home early from work Sunday. I said after second break, I'm going home. I felt tired. The weather was bad here though. It was like rain and wind the whole time. This whole weekend. I think we had like a tropical low from the coast that came up here. Really, really, it's weird to see the unofficial start of summer have the beaches emptied. No one on the beach. Here it's just pouring down rain, and the Charlotte race didn't race until Monday, though they had a little bit of weather issues Monday as well, but managed to get all the race in uh, till like 11 or midnight. So um, the rain kind of put a damper, but overall, the weekend was good. I just relaxed, so and managed to get the show in early as well. So um, just took it easy this weekend. That's all I did. And hopefully you had a great Memorial Day weekend as well. I feel like I heard a train coming as well. So if it does, I might move for a minute there. But anyway, check out the Discord. If you have not been on the Discord, the stories and the videos that were on tonight will be on the Discord, and any other previous stories for previous seasons and Summer of Sunshine and all of that will be on there as well. Nancy, how you doing? I am so sorry I missed the notification. You are fine. You're fine. I am wrapping up though, um, but as always, like I told Brenda, it's always replays. The stories will be on Discord. The train's coming, so give me just a minute while I mute my mic here. Okay, hopefully y'all enjoyed that. The hand gestures there. Let's see. Let me catch up on comments here. Um, Brittany says we were so lucky with the weather. We camped. It was in the mid 70s during the day and 50s at night. No rain. It was awesome. That's good. That's good. It seems like we were kind of 60s, 70s as well with the rain, but it's like farther north than where Frank is. I mean, I don't know where Frank has not been on my stand, but where he was, they got 80s in Canada. I'm just like, they're taking our weather. Not fair. Anyway, but I'm glad you went camping and it was very good. Um, hey there, Nancy. But so is there problems with notifications? I don't know. By off, I mean messed up. Okay. Just oh, I muted myself, Nancy. Just lost radio. I just muted myself. Um, let's see. It's going to be in the 90s this week. I'm not ready for that. Ooh, yeah. So it's going to be very hot. That's weird. Well, should it be weird? Probably not. Midwest is going to start getting warmer, and here we're still going to be in the 70s and 80s, which is kind of odd. However, the clouds are going to still stick around this week, and it could rain just on and off this week. So it's just been this week's been kind of miserable weather-wise here, but I heard something about next Monday we'll get sun, so we'll see. The sun does come in and out sometimes, but it's just the clouds are just overtaking the sun here. So I think we're just in for some cooler weather, but the 80s are supposed to come back near the weekend. But I'm pretty sure there's going to be rain or storms involved with it as well. So, Nancy says upper 80s here. Wish we had something between 70 and 90. Well, upper 80s are not bad. I mean, just think about this. Right now, we're in almost June. It could be 100 degrees somewhere, or 110 somewhere. So I think it's gradually slowing up, but I'd rather take the 80s right now. But sooner or later, we're probably gonna get sick of it. Not too hot, it's humid. Yeah. So, and the humidity, if it skyrockets, that's gonna be definitely terrible. Um, I'll be happy if it never goes over 75 for spring to set. Well, we're in a phase where it's just gonna be 90s and 80s, and I ain't gonna say hundreds, but 90s and 80s. So we got a couple months to survive it. Air conditioners on, fans on, and hopefully no power outages to thunderstorms that just randomly pop up. But we are in the time of the season. It's going to get warm and hot. And one of the stories I did, mosquitoes. Um, so it's warming up. It's warming up. Just so far, it's just been a little bit cooler here with all the clouds and stuff around here. So I guess I can't complain about that right now. But sun will kind of help me a little bit, feeling uh, awake instead of just looking at the windows like, God, I want to fall asleep. But anyway, so I did get through the Discord. Mental health hour, Tim and Gemma. Make sure to follow them. I'm going to post up a couple of things for them, and the commands work. I think last week when Tim was on here, I had trouble with commands. And I think it was kind of Stream Elements a little bit, kind of goofing up on the commands. But check them out tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. They did do Grounding Yourself 2 last week. I didn't get a chance to update that. Let's see if we can put their latest episode on here. There we go. So episode 95, we're going to talk about parenting and co-parenting. You know what? This is a good topic as well nowadays. Parenting and co-parenting, especially co-parenting. So they will take a look into this, give their opinions about it. And technically, I know some things about that in my life. So, and when I was a kid growing up, so parenting and co-parenting is their topic for tomorrow. Again, 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. UK. Check them out on Tim Conrad's channel there, Tim Conrad 1, and just post a shout out to him. There we go. We're just going to do the little shout out thing. Enter. Okay, so there you go. And also, I guess I should mention this. If you follow their Discord, let's see. Oh, first, they are on Kick as well. They did a little marathon on Kick as well. If you haven't heard of Kick, I shouldn't be mentioning it on here, but we'll discuss it later on. But they do have a channel on Kick on the Mental Health Hour. They have a community check-in, an audio community check-in as well. They just started this month. So next month, they're going to do it every monthly. So June 23rd, 5 p.m. Eastern. If you're on their Discord, we got the scannable code there. Make sure to tune in. Join them there. I guess we talk about a wide range of topics, I guess. Pretty much how you're doing, how you feeling, what's going on with your life, and all of that. So just something I would bring up there as well to promote for them. That's June 23rd. So about 4 weeks, at 5 p.m. Eastern on their Discord. So thought I'd put a little plug in for them as well for that one. All right, we're going back. Jim in Chicagoland, he will be on tomorrow as well for Catalyst, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. He'll have a candle. Well, if it's getting near 80, he might do the fire pit. We'll see what the weather does. So either a candle or he's going to put the fire pit back out. And you talk about your day, what's going on, different topics, all of that stuff on Catalyst Wednesday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. And also Saturday Night Trivia, which, yeah, he will be back on 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. He took the week off, of course, for his birthday, but also Memorial Day. So hopefully he had a great birthday as well. A great birthday. We wish him a happy birthday last week on Catalyst as well. So make sure to join him on those days, Wednesdays and Saturday nights. And with that being said, I think I'm going to close out the show. I'm going to probably post the stuff up after I end the live stream. Excuse me. Let's see if throat's about to go. But I really do appreciate you, Nancy and Brenda, for being in here. Really do appreciate you guys being in here. Always good supporters on the show. And oh, by the way, I'm going to leave out the main thing. A couple weeks from now, June 13th, will be the season 3 finale of A Ray of Sunshine. So mark that on your calendar. Season 3 finale on June 13th. And regular show. And also I'll talk about probably the future of the show. Again, if it went to Discord, the goal is to get season 4. But just determine on my what I'm going to do personally and all that stuff. So thank you. If y'all want to tune in for that, June 13th, 8 p.m. I'll do a little discussion about it after the show, after all the stories. Then I'll take a little bit of a summer break. I guess I might come on sporadically because I think a week after that, I got a baseball game to go to, and I think I might want to live stream that Tuesday on the 20th. It's a baseball game, so we'll take a look at it. So we'll see about that. Sorry, Missy. You're good, Nancy. You're good. Have a great evening. Have a good night, Brenda. Thank you so much for being in here. So, but June 13th, season 3 finale of A Ray of Sunshine. All right, hydrate. I'm gonna have to owe you on the hydrate. I'll owe you on the hydrate on the next episode, Brenda. Oh, you know what? Hold on. We'll do this real quick. 1 second. I'll leave my door open. I don't care. There we go. All right, there we go. We got it fulfilled. Got it fulfilled. All right. All right, hydrate. Thank you, Nancy, for being in here. So there we go. Do a quick run there. All right. So with that being said, again, thank you guys so much for being in here. Really do appreciate you guys so much. You know what? I might not rate no one tonight. I think I'm just gonna end the show. I think I'm just gonna end it tonight. But really do appreciate you guys being in here, and I will be back on next Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and wherever you are else in the world. Really do appreciate y'all guys' support. So until then, be positive, stay safe, be kind to one another, and I will see you guys next week and on other people's broadcasts. So until then, take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Have a good evening and have a good rest of your week. Take care, guys.